Hi everyone, it's Lisa's Movie Reviews. I have tried to make this video so many times, and there's always something wrong with it, and last week I tried to upload it, but then YouTube told me it was too long. It was over 15 minutes long, so I'm going to try to do it again and keep it shorter. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm reviewing Blade Runner from 1982. It was one of my most favorite movies ever. If you haven't seen it, where have you been? Okay, Blade Runner. Let me get all my stuff over here. I'm going to show you guys. Right here. Okay, now, Blade Runner was directed by Ridley Scott in 1982, and it is, well, it's not really based on the book, but the book inspired the movie. And the book is called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. I'll show you the book. I've had this book forever. And it says clearly up here the inspiration for Blade Runner. So it's not really based on it, but it definitely inspired it. And I'm going to get to the difference from the book and the movie real soon. It stars Harrison Ford as Rick Deckard. If you don't know Harrison Ford, come on. You know, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. Rutger Hauer, who plays Roy Batty in it. And he did Nighthawks, Flesh and Blood. Sean Young, who plays Rachel. She was also in Dune. Edward James Olmos, who plays Gaff, he was in this, and Stand and Deliver, and a whole bunch of other movies I can't think of right now. And Daryl Hannah, who plays Pris, she was in Splash, Clan of the Cave Bear, lots of other films in the 80s. Now, the movie takes place in 2019. I keep looking down. I have my little notes so I don't forget anything. It takes place in 2019 Los Angeles, our year now. So we have not caught up to the future that's in this film, or this story. Takes place in Los Angeles. Former police officer Rick Deckard, that's Harrison Ford, is detained by Gaff and brought to his former supervisor, Bryant. Deckard used to be what is known as a Blade Runner, a bounty hunter, and his job is to track down bioengineered beings known as replicants and retire them, which basically means kill them, assassinate them, execute them. There are 4 on Earth illegally. The characters' names are Roy, Pris, Zora, and Leon, and they are replicants. Rachel, who Sean Young plays, is also a replicant, but she's a different kind of replicant. She's a newer, engineered replicant, a Nexus 6. And she has been given false memories to believe that she's human. All the other replicants, Roy, Zora, Pris, and Leon, they don't have fake memories. They have a 4-year lifespan, which means after 4 years they just automatically die, but they don't have memories. They know that they're replicants. Whereas Rachel, she had no idea she was a replicant because Tyrell, who creates the replicants for the Tyrell Corporation, he gave her false memories. And I think they were his niece's memories, so she has all these memories from the past when she was a kid and her mother, and they aren't hers, so she had no idea she was a replicant. Now, the way that Rick Deckard, or Blade Runners, detect who is a replicant, they give him this test. It's like a lie detector test kind of thing, but it's called the Voight-Comp test, and they ask him questions to determine if they have empathy or not, and apparently replicants don't have empathy. I mean, he could ask some question like, you see a dog has been hit by a car, people would say, oh, humans, maybe they would, but they would say, I would pick him up and take him to the vet. A replicant would say, oh, I'd put it out of its misery, kill it, or even just walk on by it. I mean, some people might do that, but that's kind of something that replicants would answer. And, like I said, there's 4 there in the Earth, legally, and they're trying to get to Tyrell because they want to have more life. They want to demand more life, and that was why they're there, and he's trying to track them down and retire them. And see, I try to make this video short because last time I tried to explain a little bit more in depth, it just went long and long and long and long, and then YouTube says, that's too long, sorry. But it was only 14 minutes long, but I'm still trying to keep it shorter. The themes of the movie is the convention of film noir. You will definitely see lots of examples in film noir in this movie. And the cinematography is, I have a hard time pronouncing this, it's chiaroscuro? Basically, it means contrast between light and dark, and that's something you definitely see a lot in Ridley Scott movies. You see it in Alien, especially Legend, Gladiator. You see a lot of this. Let's see. Well, I don't want to. I'm trying to push all these things in one little video so I don't make it long. Okay. Now, they had different cuts of this film. They had just the original theatrical, then the director made a director's cut, and they had a voiceover by Harrison Ford, which he clearly does not want to do the voiceover. You can just hear it, that he is so monotonous and so bored with it. But I didn't really like it either. The movie did not need a voiceover. The best cut is the final cut right here. If you don't have this in your movie library, come on, you got to get it. And this, I don't have the, let me see. No, I just have the plain DVD. My dad has the special edition 2-disc one, but I got this one, and it has 3 filmmaker commentaries by Ridley Scott, producers, and production designers. I haven't really listened to all of them. I listened to the director's cut, which I really liked, but this is the best cut. The best cut. The cinematography in this movie is brilliant. The art direction is brilliant. It doesn't have an extreme amount of special effects, which I think just makes it so much more legendary. The movie holds up still today. From 1982 to 2019, it's 1982. I want to be sure. It does hold up. It doesn't look old and outdated. Now let's get to the book, okay? This is what inspired the movie, and there's a lot that, because you can't base the movie on this because it's so different. In this movie, Rick Deckard, he is a bounty hunter. I don't believe, if I remember, there's any mention of the word Blade Runner in this book. He's a bounty hunter, and he tracks down androids, which they nickname Andes, so there's really no words of the word replicant in this either. And really what he's doing is he just wants to find androids and kill them so he can buy an animal, because apparently animals are extinct in this time. And see, electric sheep, he owns an electric sheep and he can't stand that sheep. He wants to buy a real animal. So that's the whole point of him tracking down the androids, killing them, retiring them to get the money to buy an animal. That's all he wants, because he wants to make his wife happy, and his wife is in the book. I think I don't know if it's really mentioned in the movie, but he's divorced in the movie. In the book, he is married. They don't really get along too well. I prefer the movie when it comes to the Replicants, because there's so much more about them, and so much more storyline and plot with them in the movie, because in the book, they're barely in this. I mean, barely in it. I think they're in it for maybe half a chapter, 2 chapters, and that's it. So, definitely prefer the movie. If this was just a standalone book and it didn't have the movie, it would still be a good book. There's much to be desired, but it's still a good book. And if you just had the plain movie, that's just fine. You wouldn't need a book. Now, the best thing about this is the soundtrack. This is probably the best soundtrack for me ever. I am a huge movie soundtrack collector, but I mean, I love so many of them. I got so many over there, so many. But I think this is the best soundtrack ever, and it's blah blah blah. It's by Vangelis, that Greek composer, and he also did. I'm trying to remember, Chariots of Fire, The Bounty, Alexander, and 1492, Conquest of Paradise. That's another of my favorite soundtracks. This is what the little case looks like. Let's see if you can see it. Has 3 CDs. The first CD is basically just like the original soundtrack. I think there's 12 tracks to it. Great music. The second one is like unreleased music from the movie. That's great. And then the third is songs and music that was inspired by the movie. It's just as great. This is the soundtrack to have. check it out on Amazon. I don't think, I bought this so long ago, I couldn't tell you how much it costs. Yeah, so this is Blade Runner. I have to give this movie an A+. This has been one of my favorite movies since I was, I don't remember how old I was when I first saw it, but since I was a kid, because it's one of my dad's most favorite movies. There was a sequel done about it maybe 2-3 years ago, Blade Runner 2049. It's an okay film. It's one of those films like it's okay, but then I didn't really like it too much, but then I didn't hate it. And maybe I'll do a review of that later. But for now, I just gotta stick to getting these videos out smaller so they can get uploaded. Like I said, I've tried to get this video uploaded many times, and the other videos I was really going in depth with this story, and I'm sorry that I can't do it, but I gotta stick to the YouTube rules and standards. What can I say? The acting is amazing. I mean, sometimes I used to be on the fence if Harrison Ford was right to play Rick Deckard, but honestly, I can't think of anybody else at that time who could have played him. I really don't think I could have seen anybody play him. Rutger Hauer is Roy Batty. He was meant to play this part. Sean Young, she's an okay actress, but I did like her as Rachel. Daryl Hannah, I've always liked her. I thought she was great as Pris. The art direction is amazing. The cinematography is amazing. The costumes are amazing. The music is, I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about this movie. Except, well, do I or do I not? Because sometimes people say maybe you should have on your videos a pros and a cons of each movie. But sometimes I just don't find anything wrong with a movie. And I don't really find anything wrong with this movie. I mean, it's just beautiful. The ending of the movie's beautiful. It's sad, it's bittersweet, but it's beautiful. It's basically, machines have more appreciation and love of life than humans do. Because, spoiler if you haven't seen it, but at the end of the movie, Rick is trying to kill Roy. And Rick almost dies, almost falls to his death, and Roy saves his life, because he saves the life of his enemy. But in doing so, he saved a life because he's about to die, because his time's running up. All life at that moment was important and special to him. And his monologue at the end is just brilliant. The tears and rain and that music is just perfect. It always tugs at my heart. So definitely check out Blade Runner if you haven't. And if you have, let me know what your favorite scenes are, or is there part of the movie you don't like? Is there something I missed to point out? Did you read the book? Did you like the book? And do you like the soundtrack? If not, let me know what your favorite soundtrack is. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.